Welcome to the Blind Apex Podcast, where amateur club racers tune in to get faster.
Hello, I'm your host, Con Jaunter. On this episode, I want to discuss grassroots endurance racing. Joining me to discuss this topic is the dynamic duo from Garage Heroes in Training, Bill and Vicky. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thanks for the invite, sir.
Yeah, anytime. I've been listening to you guys for a long time, so I figured I should have you on, especially because your focus is more on endurance racing. We can get into that a little bit later. But in the meantime, Vicky, why don't you tell us a little bit about your racing history and your driving history?
Well, I started out with none. No idea of what to do, how it works. Wasn't even really on my radar. I'm an arts girl. And Bill come up with this wacky idea and said, okay. And then, and that's where we kind of started. We actually started out with some NASA HPDEs. And I think we did an autocross. I think we did an autocross or two. Then I think when we actually just got on the track, we just got on the track and it was exciting. It was terrifying. And I had no idea what I was doing, but it was a blast. And I think when we jumped in, we just learned our tribe. And I think from there on, we just, we figured that we're going to train and just kind of do these things. That Bill really focused on us learning how to drive the car, learning how to drive the car properly. And Bill's the one who usually guides us in those directions. He schedules us up and, it's, what do you guys want to do this year? And Bill handles it and books us. So, with some skid pad training also, which was really, really helpful. We really picked things up. And I think that's pretty much my skill level. I mean, I'm up at HPD level 3 now,
okay. But
I'm really comfortable on the track. I am comfortable on the track.
So you're by yourself now, all alone. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming you're collecting data while you're out there, looking at data maybe.
We try our best, but we have a hard time getting to the data point, in our car prep. And sometimes we accidentally turn our stuff off when we're trying to turn it on. It always seems to be that last thing. And that's the one thing we're going to focus on this year. We made a point. Every year we do a what went well, this year. And we do it pretty much for every race too, but we do a whole thing at the end of the year. And that was one of the areas that like this year that needs to be one of the priorities we need to have one person for sure that can get that rolling for us. And that's their job.
Is that Bill's new job, Bill? Yeah.
Sort of. It has been to this point. We're hoping that we can get somebody who's, a little less distracted, because I tend to fall into the team manager, paddock manager role. Mm-hmm. So right. I've got all of the different areas. So if we could have somebody who actually, I'll take care of, I think I've got it straightened out to where it's merely turning it on. Everything's installed. All the cards are there. Everything's good. We should be good now.
Right. Before we had to, before we had to do like the whole setup for it. But Bill is just trying to get almost a permanent setup in it for us. So we don't have to really think too much about it.
Are you using the fancy aim dash that you finally got installed, maybe?
Well, we have the fancy aim dash. The installed part I might question a tiny bit. The go-to default for us is the Apex Pro.
Okay.
It's simple, and you can monitor the car outside. And Vicky refers to us having trouble with it. The Apex Pro is the one that is kind of bulletproof for us. The one that we have trouble with is the GoPro. We are phenomenal at finding new and improved ways of screwing up the GoPros. So
he's not lying.
I'll tell you personally, when I started racing, it was mandatory for all racers to have a camera operating in my region. Some regions don't require that, but my region requires a operational camera at all times. Well, I couldn't get my GoPro to work at all. I would press the same buttons, the same combo. I'd have the manual out, and half the time it would go into this, 7-shot burst thing, and then sometimes it would record for 15 minutes, turn itself off, turn it back on, turn itself back on, like do these weird resets. I was so tired of it that I personally, now I'm a data analyst. I manage data for a gigantic group of the federal government, and I do all of their data single-handedly. I would want something more hands-on, but I went to the Garmin Catalyst because it was the easy button to fill the requirement, and I can just pull the tablet and look at it when I need data. So
the only thing tricky is it's very sensitive to input power and input power stability. So you'll have some times where it works flawlessly, and then the same wires next day, it's just a problem. So that's kind of our second tier of data is that. And then we've got 7 different data systems on the team, and we're finally down selecting the ones that we're going to use primarily, and it's definitely one of them. And then the AIM is kind of the default for the world, and it's a very good technology. It's a horrible software system.
Yes,
and I think I've put up with enough to finally dig into it to a little bit where I can get some data out. Vicky would never use it because it's just the interface is horrific.
Yeah, I would agree with that. One of the other things is, as far as you guys installing your dash, I would recommend getting whatever chassis that you're installing it in. You need the service manual, and you need someone who can read wiring diagrams.
We have both of those, and we actually have a cheat sheet for it because it's primarily going to be in an E46 BMW. Okay. So it's actually that specific pairing has been worked out to where even I have a chance at getting it to work. We'll find out if that's true, but I've been told it's easy.
Yeah, they always say it's easy. So
I have people to call though, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Happy.
Yeah. Bill, so did I hear Vicky right and say that you decided that you were going to go endurance racing first, or were you guys going to just jump into the track thing first?
So the story is a little different than my beautiful bride has summarized. So she was really into Top Gear, like before, when Top Gear was a touring kind of show. So she started that was her entrance into cars, and Top Gear is about as light of an entrance into cars as you can get. It's a car show wrapped around with a lot of fun. But then we started looking around for something to do because our kids were getting a little older. So, I found there was a BMW club where they kind of bring you to a track and you go out and do an autocross, and then you do some lead follow on a track. And I think it's more or less to try and get you to buy a car, which was very cool. We went there, and then, I started looking full scale and how do we get into this? And there was a TV show, Everyday Driver podcast. They had a TV show, and they had one of their episodes was, coincidentally, their first Lemons race. And I told Vicky, look, this is $500. And she's like, well, $500. Okay, we can do that. And, I just let it slide because it's not $500. And that was the beginning. Close. And not even close now. There's all those asterisks and subsections. So our first time really on track, her first time on track after that little BMW event was in a Lemons race. We didn't start training until after our first year when we realized that, years of experience and hundreds of thousands of miles of road miles don't mean anything because you have no idea what you're doing on
Does
track.
not.
So that's when we started getting into the HPDEs, and I tend to have a personal philosophy of if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing, and that's with everything. So then we started, we found out what an HPDE was, and then we said, oh, that sounds like a good plan, and we met some friends who knew something about what we were into, and the best way to do this is just start, meet some friends, you'll have shared interests, and then they'll be able to help you. Don't wait until your car is perfect. Don't wait until you're a perfect driver. Don't wait till just go and do it.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Especially in the HPD world, several of my guests have been like, it doesn't matter. They're all instructors. It doesn't matter what you show up in. I don't care if you're in your grandma's Camry. Just come, just do it and you'll get hooked. And that's true.
It is. I've only seen a couple cars where I'm like, why are you bringing that to an HPD? One was a fully race prepped C7 Corvette on race slicks, cage, everything in HPD. One was a, I just blanked on it. What was the 918, the Porsche, one of the triplets in HPD one. And I'm just like, what are you doing? I mean, no.
My uncle has a saying. He says experience is expensive, and those guys really like to have expensive experiences.
Well, that's too much car for an HPD one, but okay.
Yeah, for sure. I started in a 90 horsepower CRX, so, and I haven't got much faster. So,
we understand. I think Vicky's first car was a 74 Capri, and it was stock.
It had the tiniest transmission. It was adorable, and they were so hard to replace. So we had to not use that anymore because we kept losing the links. Yep.
Yeah, you have to.
It's terrible.
Be selective, I think, when you're picking out a car. They all have weaknesses, but you don't want the whole transmission to be a weakness. So.
No. And especially like a 74 where parts are practically impossible to find. That was one lesson that we learned. Make sure you have parts available.
That's why I built a brand new car.
Easy to.
I ask. I'm used to being on the other side of these question things. I'm like, what car do you get? But it's not.
Go for it.
Go.
Ask.
What car did you have?
I had a 2000 Honda Civic coupe. It was the EM1. I started to have frame rail fatigue at the firewall, so I was snapping axles in the transmission, and basically it was the bill to fix it was going to be pretty steep, and I couldn't order any parts from Honda anymore. You'll find out with your hatch. You only have a handful of parts that you can acquire from Honda. The rest you'll be surfing the junkyard like Jaime does from Race FF. He's awesome. Yeah, he is. I bought a 2000. Well, my wife and I bought a 2007 Honda Civic Si. It's also a coupe, but I can call my local dealership and they can find me the part at some outrageous discount or outrageous markup. But yeah, I can still find the parts without surfing the junkyard. So,
good for you.
Yeah.
I can't say that.
No. I mean, you have an E46, so you should be able to maybe get something from BMW, but I doubt it. They usually run their cars out.
I think our friend who helped us with that car changed just about everything. So there's very little BMW besides body panels.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, that's the next one that's going to be hitting the street. I think that's the first one out of the garage this year.
This spring, yeah.
Yeah.
And what race will you be doing?
We're trying to see if we can get ready for the AER race at Pit Race.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
it's going to be cold.
We had a season where all of our cars had problems. Every one of them. Our daily drivers, all of them had an issue. So we're coming out of that right now. But only for his, my sister and I are we just need to put a car wrap on it and then get ready to send it out. I think everything else is done for it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to cut the hood vents in it still.
Yeah.
Just minimal out.
It's close.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just have to get that part in and then get it wrapped and get it out the door.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's ready.
So on that note, Bill, why don't you tell us about Garage Heroes in Training, the team?
The team?
Yeah.
We started started innocently enough. The hardest part was trying to figure out a name. And Vicky's like, we're into superheroes. We're kind of, MCU and DC, good movies, fans. And she's like, well, how about Garage Heroes? And I'm like, well, that's a little presumptuous because we aren't very good. So why don't we do like add in training? And then that spelled out G-Hit. So that was kind of fun. And so it started out as Vicky and I went with our, at the time, 17 or 18-year-old son, who automatically is the gift of driving and Senna, just a little too tall. And his friend, we went to our first race. And Vicky's sister, Jennifer, found out that we were doing this, and it was like 45 minutes from their house, and they have an RV, and they were like, oh, we need to go see this. Can we do that? And they're like, sure. So we did the usual, what we recommend, and we were recommended to do. We kept our stints short in the beginning, short being like 45 minutes,
Okay.
just to get used to the track and make the mental fatigue as little as possible. So the first day we're doing these 45-minute stints, and it's just like go to the pit, change gas, change drivers, get out, walk back to the RV, go back to the pit, change. You basically
we have no idea what we're doing, but we're having a great time.
That's right. So Jennifer's just sitting there watching us like a tennis match, just going back and forth. And then we finished that race. I think Vicky and I were talking on the way home. We drove down separately, and we're like, yeah, I think we found our tribe of idiots because, everybody there was awesome. Everybody was friendly. They'd give you their parts off their car to make sure you could get out there and race because they just wanted to be out there playing and having a good time. And, when Lemon's crowd is on the track, they're pretty serious. When Lemon crowd is off the track, they are far from serious. So it was fun. We had a great time. And then Jennifer was watching, and she's like, hey, that looks like fun. Do you think I could do that? And I'm like, sure. And she's like, I've never driven a stick. I'm like, okay, we'll figure that out. And, we gave her a couple of days of borrowing my car for 5 days and forgot a couple things about teaching her how to drive a stick. Like one, she lives in Delaware, and in Delaware, there are no hills. So her first race, she's going out on track, and there's hills, and, she's stalled on a hill because
she kept stalling at New Hampshire.
Yeah. So, I'm on the radio going, okay, push the clutch in, put the gear in first, press the gas pedal, go off the brake, go to the gas pedal about halfway or all the way, I don't care, and just let the clutch out. And she's like, oh, that worked. I'm like, yeah. So we don't train our drivers that way anymore. We've learned a little bit. So Jennifer came in, and then one of our friends, Alan, called Vicky and said, what did you guys just do? Because he saw on Facebook that she posted it, and he's like, I want to do that. So he came in.
No, well, you know what? I think it when Alan is super handy, and Alan's a mechanic. So he says, so what are you doing? And on Facebook, and I'm like, well, he seemed to have his interest piqued. I'm like, we need a mechanic. And he says, I'm in. So we had a mechanic. Awesome. So then we became the four of us.
Right. And we moved on, and, we seem to be the land of misfit toys, and we keep inviting people to come out for the first time ever. And, we crossed 50 people that have raced with us. And our team, and it's been like 5 seasons, or this is our 6th season coming up. So we're averaging about 10 people, and of those 50, probably 35 of them were first timers on track. So, and then we have friends who adopted us, and we refer to them as our sister team, and they don't refer to us at all because they're embarrassed of us. But that's a different story. No, but they're really good friends of ours.
That's Three Pedal Mafia. We love them,
right? And they have a podcast, but we always joked around that their podcast is a 201, and we needed like the 101 podcast. So we're after our second race, we decided to start a podcast, and we still call ourselves the 101 podcast.
Yeah, well, the problem is when we got into racing, there was so much lingo, and there was so much just the nuances, the basics.
Assumed
we didn't have
knowledge.
Assumed knowledge, and I was like, I just don't understand how all this operates. None of us did. And that's when we decided that there are other people that are starting this up that are probably the same way that we are. Right. Now we're probably a 2.0 now because we have a lot of guests on, but definitely in our earlier, podcasts in the very first 2 years, we just go over all the basics on how to set up a paddock, how to set up your garage, what to expect at the races, what you need to do when you arrive, and, how to organize. What are some of the best things to bring?
What is an HPDE?
What is an HPDE? Right. And we break that stuff down. So definitely in the early parts of the podcast, we go over that. And it's almost as if you're learning as we were learning. Because we would also come back and go, oh, that weekend was not good. This is what happened. And what did we learn from it? And that's what we did on this podcast.
The podcast is now...
you basically start... Go ahead.
Yes, you're 400 episodes in. So you're a little past the basics, I would say, right?
We are past the basics now.
We revisit them, though.
Yeah, we do.
We have on Mondays we release our normal episode, and then that could be a guest episode. It could be race review. It could be anything. And then on Tuesdays we do a Dominating with Dawson, where we can ask anything that we want to a seasoned, qualified, good racing driver who puts up with us for unknown reason, Ben Dawson.
Yeah, and
it could be a simple, 15-minute discussion on some jargon that you hear in the paddock, or, just to make sure everybody's clear. Or it could be, advanced driving techniques and passing techniques and things like that. And then, we have other episodes throughout the week if we need to, that could cover our team or how things are going in our garage, or the latest Marvel movie. Like we'll have one coming out for Ant-Man soon.
We call them woots, way off our topics.
Way off our topic. The good thing about having your own podcast is you can do anything you want. And,
right.
Yeah,
our pay doesn't get affected. It's $0 for all the time. And that's fine.
Yeah.
We got into the guests mostly because our garage had been shut down and the season stalled during COVID. So we got heavy with just at that point having people come on and discuss either, their coaching or questions about their racing.
Yeah. Or industry experts on safety and things like that. So.
Right.
Yeah. But then we're going to have to revisit again when our garage just opened up last week. Today was the actual first official work day in the garage. So we're probably going to have to start revisiting some of those.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And we learn all the time. I mean, I'm sure you do as well with, what was assumed that you've been doing that. And really? I wasn't doing that. Okay. So,
I mean, half the reason I started the podcast was so I could learn more. I mean, it's mostly selfish. So I'm not afraid to admit it. So. And are we going to get more episodes of Dominating with Dawson so we can finish off the passing series?
Yeah, we did that one. That was a separate one we did with Blake. Unfortunately, Blake's father passed away, so we're kind of giving him a little break.
Yeah,
and we've got at least 3 more episodes. I'm thinking more like 5 more episodes, and we may even have guests come on besides Ben and Blake. So it'll be fun.
Sweet.
I like that one. I want to get back to that one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I got that part of passing. but I always need more because I race with killers. So I need all the tricks I can get from anybody who will share. So, yeah. So you guys started off in lemons. When you look at all of the endurance racing, the amateur endurance racing series out there, where would you place lemons on the seriousness scale? Because you did say they were serious on track, but it's really hard when they're like bolting sails to the top of their cars and things like that, big shark fins and stuff like that. So,
okay, so lemons as the organizing authority is as serious or more serious about safety than any of the other series, because their specific aim is to get people out on track and having fun. So they are more than happy to have somebody who's never driven on track come on a lemons race for the first time. So they are overly compensating by their tech inspection, their scrutiny, and their treatment of the racing rules. Like if you put a tire off onto the grass or onto the dirt, it's a black flag. You will come in and you will be talked to. And in other forms of racing that I've done, that's fine. That's just racing. You expanded the limits of the track. No big deal. So from that perspective, Lemons is very serious about the racing. If you're talking about, there's a spectrum, right? There's the pointy end of the field. They've got very serious cars that are not Lemons cars, like Lemons in quotes, cars that go very fast and can compete in most of the other series, but they've also got a middle pack, which is, kind of cars that are good. Some of them can be fast, some of them can't be fast. And then they've got their IOE contenders or their junk heaps, which are Class C cars, and they can be pretty slow, or they're competing in a different race. So the way I always put it to people is, listen, Lemons is what Lemons is. If you go there and you're expecting to change Lemons, you are going to be unhappy. If you go there and enjoy what Lemons is, you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, I can see that. For those that don't know, Lemons, you're supposed to have a $500 car. People do themes. Only mass production cars are allowed. I think there's a DOT 190 or higher treadwear is required. Yes. Then they have what's called the BS factor. Every $10 they perceive your car to be over the $500 limit, puts you down one lap. That does not include your safety equipment, like you said. I was surfing their website and they said they have a weight limit, so you can't bring semi trucks. Apparently people have asked.
Right.
No.
You can't do golf carts. Apparently people have asked. So they have some specific rules, and I could see where in this realm of safety, even with a steel framed golf cart, you don't want to be out there in one of those. So
no, they take it very, very seriously. And it's a great entry level, with no aggro, to go out and like learn.
Yeah.
To go out and learn and to get your feet wet and figure out if this is something that you like or not. And the environment is fun. So your first introductory to racing in general, it's a great stepping off point. We like going there because, number one, all of our friends are there. We like to bring new people to the track. We like to introduce this sport to people. And we've, like Bill said, we've brought many people that have come. And we really haven't been there in our training because we were learning ourselves, is that we were not there to win. We were there to have a good time, and we were there to learn.
Yeah.
And as Bill's motto in our on our track was, if we wanted to win, we would have brought different racers. That was it. So if we finished for him in our training process 50% of the pack, then that was good. And if we brought the car home, great. We discussed like maybe this year to possibly really step it up and see if we can really compete now, because, Jennifer and I are in level 3s. Bill's an instructor. Alan's is good. And we usually have another, Alan's pretty good.
The team's gotten large, so.
The team has gotten better, a lot better. Yeah. And we've been in there. So this might be the year when we actually decide that, okay, maybe not this year because our engine's still in the shop.
Let's go for next year, shall we?
Let's go for next year. This year's probably going to be a training year. But I think our experiences altogether might actually put us in a really good position to, let's see what we can do. Lemons is like going out playing football with your friends on Sunday.
Okay. Winning's not the point.
No.
I mean, yes, you can win, but it's to enjoy the racing, enjoy your friends, enjoy the paddock game, and if your only way of having fun is how fast your fastest lap is and what trophy you win, Lemons is not your thing. And it fully acknowledges that. And
right.
Those are the people who get frustrated with Lemons. There's two types of people who get frustrated with Lemons: the very aggressive, very competitive people, and that's the only way of having fun, or the people who look at a Lemons video from 15 years ago when they were throwing lemons at the cars on track and they would destroy a car. It was over the $500 limit, blah blah blah. Long time ago, no safety, and things have changed a lot. So you can have a great time in Lemons in a good car, and winning a Lemons overall race. The cars that are competing, the top 5 or 10 cars in a race of 130 people, they're going to pass thousands of cars that weekend, and they can compete in most of the other series quite well. They may not look pretty, or they might look pretty, but they're good cars and great drivers.
Well, it seems like with your team, Lemons seems to be up your alley because of the rule set of bringing new unlicensed drivers and you guys wanting to bring people, the more relaxed atmosphere, that kind of thing. I think it really, it's a good gateway for anyone who wants to, maybe you don't want to do endurance racing, but you really got hit by the track bug and you're ready to go do HPDE, go sprint race, go time trial, do whatever you're going to do. Seems like a great avenue to get into it. So
it is.
So,
and there's other endurance series that you can go to. That each one scratches a different itch.
Okay,
and if you try them, you'll find the one that fits you.
Right.
So let's say of Champ, Lucky Dog, WRL, AER, where do you rank them in seriousness? Maybe
Champ's the next one above Lemons. It's not terribly different. It's got kind of a weird rule set, in my opinion. Not a bad rule set. It's just it's punishing in certain ways.
Yes, it
that I
points
don't
value
necessarily
the car
agree with. Yes,
for my listeners, a B18B non-VTEC Integra is like 225 points. A Miata would be the OG Miata first gens would be 250 points, and an E30 gets smacked hard and would be 450 points.
And then if you do an engine swap,
right, engine swaps,
it seems to be like McDonald's, billions served. So
right, just like so engine swaps are paying. Coilovers are like 25 points a corner. So they live in a 500 point max world, and so there's lots of ways to crack the nut, but it would take a lot more research to join Champ, formerly Chump, and sort of compete, I guess. But I'm assuming they still do it for fun.
Yeah, they're more serious. I think the paddock especially tends to get more serious. Like at night, it's kind of quiet.
Okay.
We have not done a Champ car race to this point because most of our cars would point out and not be competitive in the lower classes.
Right.
So that's not terribly entertaining. You're in the extreme high end performance class, and you are running slower than the slow cars. So we don't have a car for it, which is fine. Next most competitive, I think, would be Lucky Dog, and Lucky Dog is
fun.
I think it might be our favorite. Like, it's the balance of competitive, serious, and funny.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I haven't talked Kathy into moving to the East Coast, so she's predominantly a West Coast and several East Coast, but they tend to be Southeast. And we're in the Northeast, so I have to introduce her to the East Coast being just as big as the West Coast. And, just because you made it across doesn't mean you're much closer than where we are.
Yeah.
Yes. There's these tracks up here, and she knows about it. We pick on Kathy, but
that's a great series.
Like, if you're West Coast, I don't think we'd race anything else but Lucky Dog.
Yeah.
We just live there. Next, more serious would be, I'm probably going to get people cranky with me if I were to guess. I'm going to say AER, but it's probably pretty close to WRL.
Yeah. When I was researching, I couldn't really, at least looking at the rule book and the classing, also the pictures that were taken and the media that they put out, they're both much more serious.
They're pretty close.
And they're pretty close.
Yeah. I think WRL might be just a touch more. WRL is where a lot of the IMSA guys will go for practice.
Right.
So that's fun. And then I guess the next one above that, I get the feeling I'm forgetting one. I think you got to go towards like the like the Daytona, like 2 weeks ago at Daytona, you got the STO and you got the IMSA guys. Those are very serious. Those are
they get
semi-pro / pro.
Yeah. The amateurs that race up there or down there. Sorry. The amateurs that race down there. Is
SCCA?
I don't talk about them.
Yeah.
That's fine. They do some stuff, I think, but I'm not sure they do it anymore. I know NASA used to do endurance races. I still think they do Thunder Hill.
They still do.
But
they do 25 at Thunder Hill. They've also got the Trek series, but not all the different groups of NASA do Trek.
Right.
Like, Trek's very big in Great Lakes, and it's non-existent in Northeast
or Mid-Atlantic.
Right. So Trek series for NASA is kind of, I would put it probably towards the AER side of the world, but it tends to be shorter races, usually on Fridays, from 3 to 7 hours or so.
Right.
Kind of typical. And, the other races that I spoke of, they're either 2 7-hour races for a weekend or 15, 20, could be 25 hours up to that. So they tend to be on the shorter side. But great racing.
Yeah. We're recording this on the day that AER said your first race with us is on us. So there would be no entry fee for those folks. The buzz, I got a lot of text messages, a lot of DMs, people still trying to find seats, people trying to find seats, looking to do laps at pit race because the NASA Nationals will be at pit race. So they're all looking to get some lap time there. So once AER made that announcement, they were all, even more people than before were buzzing about it. So,
yeah, I know they were doing that last year. I don't know how long they'll do it, but if you can get a free race from them, I'd highly recommend it. I had my free one last year, and I had a great time at pit race.
Yeah, should be interesting. I know our guys were they were like, let's find a non-VTEC engine, throw it in a car, and let's go out there and, because we don't want to blow up a VTEC engine. They're a little pricey these days. So,
I was going to say AER won't mind your VTEC. They've got some serious machines out there too.
Yeah, we don't want to blow them up just for the heck of it. Type R motors are going for $4,000 to $5,000 a pop, so it gets a little expensive.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my old engine ended up in a Champ car, and it's run I don't know how many hours now, well into the 60-hour mark on an unopened engine. So it's fine, but we didn't want to take that risk. So, so let's talk about.
It's a great way to.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's a great way to, if you're worried about nationals or champs, I've heard it referred to as both. If you're worried about learning to track in 1 or 2 stints, you better know the track, because you're getting, pit race is very long, so maybe you don't get 100 laps, but in a stint, 2-hour stint, you're probably looking at 70 laps. So you get 2 stints a weekend usually.
Yeah, but that should work out. Off the top of your head, what are you guys running at pit race in endurance class? What lap times?
It depends on the cars. I mean, we've got cars that are actually decently fast, and then we've got cars that are ridiculously slow. So I think I'm looking it up while I'm here, but I think our quick cars are in the like 203, 204 range, which isn't terrible. Our slow cars are in the 20s, 220s.
Okay.
It's 2.8 miles, if I remember right. And it's got a lot of topography. There's one really punishing series of turns that if you screw them up, you will be going up a hill, and you can get your lap time done by hourglass if you screw it up, if you're in a low horsepower car. So do not mess up turns 5 and 6, because you will not see turn 7 for about an hour. It's brutal.
Yeah. People take note. I know that that the class I race in, our times for the sprint race better be 2 minutes or below. That's the that's the marker that was set. So, and we had Jackie on, who has the Honda Challenge record, well, the prior record. So she has the record, but it's not going to stand.
Oh, it's not standing, no.
No, they're going to run right over.
Indeed.
But they were made to be broken. They can't stand forever.
Nope. It's been a long time since they've been out there.
That's true also.
That is true.
So let's talk a little bit about car preparation, because I'm assuming you guys don't want to work on the car trackside because that costs you laps. So what kind of preparation are you guys looking at when you do a car, when you're getting ready for a race?
Well, there's 2 different answers to that. One was the pre John Lavin coming on our podcast, and then there was the post John Lavin. We learned a lot from John. He's a friend of ours, and before John Lavin,
he's the one that helped us build one of our cars.
Yes. So before that, we weren't racers. We weren't car people. Like, we built our first car and our second car without a garage. When we started, we had 0 tools. Like, we had hammer, claw hammer, things like that. We had no garage. We had no tools. We had no skill.
I was the art girl.
Yeah. And we did both of our liveries in our front yard, in the grass, because that's how you do it.
Spray paint,
professional. Like, one was spray paint, and one was spray dip. Spray dip is not.
What the heck do we know?
How were you dipping the car?
It was a spray.
No, it was.
Spray dip paint. It was like
it's like a peelable. We had this stupid idea that, well, if we just did it this way, we could just peel off the old one.
Oh, plastic.
And then we could just do because we don't know. Plastic dip, right. We're just like, we could just peel it off and then just, do another one, because we were idiots. And what a freaking mess that was.
I was thinking hydro dipping, where you have the film on the water and you dunk the valve cover in it, and it comes out in a pattern. I'm like, how are you doing a fender?
Gosh.
You ruined your swimming pool.
It was like spray rubber.
Yeah. Okay.
It was spray rubber, peelables. We were stupid. We were so stupid early in the beginning. That's why we started the podcast.
So the biggest issue with that is all those liquids that you use dissolve the rubber.
Yes.
So brake fluid,
Everything stuck
brake
to
clean.
it too.
If you get
Couldn't
grease,
change numbers.
couldn't change numbers. It was horrible. Bad idea. But it was an awesome livery. Looked like Spider-Man. It was fantastic. So we didn't know what we didn't know. So, change the oil. Oil's good for 3,000 miles. Who knew? Not good for 3,000 miles. So
Bleed the brakes.
Bleed the brakes.
No problem.
Didn't know about that. Let's see, what else did we know? We really didn't know anything. And then we found out after we finally learned what we didn't know, we found out why we were having trouble with one of our cars. We started taking it apart, and all the grease, what are they called?
The grease fittings that are
fittings,
on in
anything.
the suspension. Okay, so what kept happening? We kept losing the power steering. The power steering several times would go out during a race season, and we couldn't figure out why. So somebody had said, well, it's probably not the power steering at this point. We didn't know anything about the car because we never did consumable maintenance on it.
Right.
Or preventive.
So we didn't know. So the grease bearings on the suspension were so caked. And first of all, they burst, and they were caked with just grease and dirt and sand, and
Because NJMP is sand. So
Right.
it just destroyed. It didn't destroy the suspension, but it really did wear it down, and that was causing the power steering to go out.
we were basically had grease fittings made of concrete, and this power steering pump
Right.
push against that, and it was losing.
Right. Yeah. So
Whoops. Who knew?
what a hot mess. And that's when we went into the garage, and our whole issue that we kept having was that our mechanic lives 2 hours away. And we needed to have an on-site mechanic, and we can't find a mechanic. So
we made one.
I'm the mechanic now. So what we did was that Alan and I, we spent an entire winter just tearing the truck apart. We the consumables, we took off the suspension, we put in a new transmission because we kept blowing the transmission at the same time also. But that was, you never throw the truck into fifth at the time. And we just took the thing apart. I mean, we didn't take the engine apart, but we just stripped it of all its consumables and suspension and new brakes and everything. And I learned so much from that process. Like, I just looked at Alan. I'm like, this is an animatron. This is nothing but an animatron. And I said, it's a simple machine. And everything just made sense at that point. So now I am going in as second mechanic. They don't like me when I say that, but I am the on-site mechanic now. So I'm doing the consumables also. I'm still learning, but I'm like 2 years in now. So I know much more now that Bill keeps bringing cars in and giving me too much work to do.
Listen, you don't know what to fix if I don't break it, right?
I know. So our gift to each other was a lift for our anniversary.
Nice.
So now we have a full-blown lift, which is a game changer. They rolled up with my own work area now, which is a pink tool cabinet with all my own Matco tools now. So that was pretty awesome. So I feel kind of official. And now I run a girls team during the race season. For one weekend, I'll host a girls weekend. And as the girls have put it, no guys are allowed, or no other teams are allowed to touch the car unless we're in a position when we need help.
Okay.
So
I need to send my wife up
which
there
was
to
pretty
you.
awesome,
Come on now.
Yeah,
She
it
can
was
spin
pretty
a
awesome
wrench too, so it's fine.
So, and I think last season Yeah, I think last season we almost made it, but the guys just kept, we were so tired, but the guys kept, no, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to come in, I'm going to bleed your brakes. And I'm like, but. So I let them.
It was also 110 degrees, so you weren't.
Yeah, and they also blew
away.
their own. Yeah, it was something.
So you guys said you.
Yeah, so it was good.
You changed your preparation. What changed after your conversation?
We knew what we needed to address and look at, and how. Like everybody says, nut and bolt your car. Okay, what does that mean? Which nuts? Which bolts?
All of them.
Right,
Yeah,
you don't know.
You can't possibly mean all of them.
All of them.
You do. Yeah, you do. And then paint pens.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know what a paint pen was. Figured that was something Vicky should be playing with, but no, we paint pen all our nuts and bolts now. And let's see what else. We started guessing better and getting some hints from other people we race with on the frequency of doing changes, like transmission fluid, rear diff. We got to the point where we understood, hey, every race when it is an endurance race, you change your oil. We got that. Bleed the brake. You got to bleed the brakes, or switch the levels, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, but what did he say?
I know.
That made
I'm not going to steal your thunder. Go ahead.
He said, and I was just like, what do I need to do? What do I change? He said, change things that go whir. If it whir, it's going to need a change. And then it's going to need a change. I'm like, oh my God, now it makes sense, and that's when we started resonating with the consumables, what the consumables were. And now we're on a time factor with the consumables.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
like, who would have thought wheel studs wear out?
I do.
Who thought that?
I do.
Exactly.
So do lug
Did
nuts.
you do it before?
Yes.
Exactly.
mm-hmm. You're right.
We've got boxes of them now.
Yep.
But from a person that has never, that doesn't understand that part in racing, because when you enter racing, and that's what we do, is we bring people into, that's our thing. We bring people into the sport. And with the little knowledge, that they have in their work, well, what do I do for a race car? How do you maintain a race car? You can't keep taking it to the shop. If it moves, you got to change it at some point. So it's cheaper to change it before you get to the race than change it at the race, because you've just wasted your weekend. So we usually, for us going into a race for prep, we certainly do all the fluids, and we do the brakes, double check the brakes, and then we schedule out the rest for the consumables.
Right. So we have checklists upon checklists upon checklists, which sooner or later somebody's going to look at. But we have them. And in most of our cars, we either have or are going to install little, they're like an odometer, only they keep track of time, like run time.
Right.
So that's how we're going to iterate how long we go between iterations on changing X, Y, or Z. Like, it's a whole lot easier to know that, hey, my wheel bearings are, depending on the car, let's say 50 hours in, they're going to break. So why not change them at home, in the garage, with a press, on a lift,
right?
Which is so much easier than wasting a couple $1,000s at a track and not getting to run around in circles with everybody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Endurance racing seems resource intense. So
it is.
You're putting a lot of, I know how much fluid costs, at least if you're running decent, good stuff.
Uh-huh.
So that bill can rack up. I was told that if I wanted to do endurance racing, that I should plan to almost rebuild the car between every event. But also,
depends on the car.
Well, yeah. I needed to pull things apart enough to check things more thoroughly like I would on my sprint car. I was told that an endurance race over, say, 12, 14 hours is more like an entire season on a sprint car.
Yeah, that's kind of the rule of thumb that we get with our sprint car friends. Adam Jabay, who's one of the lead guys for Grid Life, says, you endurance racers, you basically burn your car to the ground every race. Not that far off the truth, Yeah. So it's if you need a full season of sprint racing for NASA or whomever you're racing with, is probably a weekend for us. If things go well. If things don't go well, it might be a sprint race for us. You never know.
Right.
But the plan is it's a season.
So let's talk a little bit about the strategy and in that transition, how did you guys know, or did you know, how many tires do you bring to your first event?
So once again, I fall on my, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. So we will have the set of tires that we have on the car, plus 2 sets of spares, plus 1 set of rain tires.
Okay.
At every race. So people borrow tires from us all the time because you don't need that many tires. I know you don't need that many tires, but what if I did?
Well,
so I just put them in the truck and bring them.
I'm thinking because my car, I'd probably need that many tires. They'd all go on the front. I could leave the rears alone, but
you're using the wrong tires. We can get you a tire that'll last you the entire weekend. You'll be fine.
Okay. I mean, I'm running a spec tire, but
we'll talk.
It's a McPherson strut car. It's pretty hard.
The tires we run are not.
Yeah.
It's fine. We have a 93 Civic, and it will run 2 to 3 weekends on a set of tires.
Oh, wow. Okay. Are they like brick? Cement?
No, they're actually pretty good. Okay. I mean,
filled with concrete.
Yeah.
The really good ones will last you a full weekend for sure. The not so good but fall off relatively little last you a weekend or two. The ones we do are just a little, peak time. They're probably not as good, but they'll last forever.
Okay. That's fair. So knowing when you're burning down tires is one thing of your part of the strategy is when to put tires on. I'm assuming, did you have an idea of what your fuel window was when you went out? You said you did 45-minute stints, so I'm guessing you're sort of trying to eyeball it off that.
We kind of knew because we did several things wrong. Actually, more than several when we first started, but we did a couple things right. Eventually, we bought cars that were already race cars.
Okay.
So the team that we bought it from told us this is about your fuel burn rate, and they deal with gallons per hour.
Okay.
It's not my favorite way of recording it, but it works. And we knew that the car, as it was about a 2-hour refuel. And since the first race we were doing 45s, we did fuel every other one. And we just do a driver change on the intervening one.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I had my question I had for Trevor, who's a pro strategist and spotter for IMSA guys, was, do you
show off?
Yeah. Well, I've known him for a long time. He's a good friend of mine. He said they absolutely require to know their driver's lap time spread and will also control their fastest guys. They literally have a pace that they want to average, and they will rein people in. Do you guys do that at the amateur level?
I'm sure people do.
Depends on the team.
I'm sure people do. I don't need to rein in my drivers because most of them are very slow. I keep track of it, and I know more than most of the people on the team know as far as where we are and what we're doing and how we're performing. And naturally, what you'll find is that the newer driver will automatically save fuel because they're not going to push the gas all the way to the floor, and they're not going to keep it to the floor as long as they could.
Right.
So they're automatically, in their self-preservation theory, they're saving gas. So we can go much, much longer than we do. We've got one car that we could do about 4 hours if we wanted to. Of course, I'm not sure people's bladders would like that very much, but whatever. But we don't typically. The only time we've done that is when we were accidentally competing for a win, and then I started doing my calculations, and then I figured out what we needed to do and how we needed to do it to bring it home, because we were ridiculously far ahead, and it was pretty easy. So we only do it when we have to. I have spreadsheets for it. It's fine.
Spreadsheets make the world go around.
Exactly.
So let's talk about pit stops, because you guys do lemons. So is it a 5-minute required pit stop?
It varies from series to series. Lemons doesn't have a min.
Okay.
Lucky Dog does. AAR does, I believe. Yeah. Champ Car, I believe, does. And they're different levels, and sometimes they'll be different from track to track. So each series has its own set of rules. But Lemons is fast as you can go.
Within the rules, right?
Get in, get out.
The driver
within the rules, but the
driver has to be out to do fuel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. So that automatically slows you down.
Yeah, it runs into the safety factor. They don't want anybody in there in case something happens to the car.
Right. No.
Like I said, Lemons is a little overboard on their safety stuff.
Yes.
So,
I mean, it's fair.
Other places we've gotten fuels done in the car, and it feels weird being a, Lemons home person. It's like, I can be in here. This feels very risky, but it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, in endurance racing strategy, your time in the pits will definitely cost you laps. So do you guys get together? You guys keep saying garage, but I know it's at an airport, so it's not a garage, it's a hangar, right?
Yeah.
Well, we
It's an air hangar.
Hangar, so everybody's like, what do you mean?
Okay.
It's a garage.
Huge garage.
So,
it's a huge garage that airplanes can fit
not
into.
Huge.
Small
airplanes.
Little airplanes can fit into. That's fine. But do you guys go out there and practice driver changes?
We have. We don't do it as much as I'd like.
We used to be able to run on the airport, and that was until they put in a new runway. And then, I mean, they didn't mind it, but it felt disrespectful at that point because they just had the new concrete put down. It wasn't on the rest of the airport, and we didn't want to be in a situation where we were a nuisance, and because technically we're guesting at that place almost, if they wanted to get rid of us, they could get rid of us because, for airport reasons. But you just don't want to overexpose yourself.
You still want to be a nice neighbor.
We stopped doing that. Still want to be a nice neighbor, and we're very respectful while we're there. So we stopped practicing on the runway.
You're probably better than I am.
The pit stops
on the airport, taxiways and everything.
Pit changes and things like that. We if we have somebody new, we'll go through it with them at the paddock at the race, but we don't really practice at the hangar anymore. Because most of the people who come with us to the hangar, they're fluent in running pit stops, so we're okay. And it's not rocket science. If you need somebody who doesn't really know what to do at a pit stop, just give them the fire bottle. This is the easiest job, and then second is get the strongest person to do the gas. And if you're a sprint car guy, don't worry about it. You got tons of time in between.
I can't tell you how many times I've been buckling up and they say 5 minutes to go green and we're on grid, and I'm like, okay, let me just start getting ready and put myself together. And they have no 3-minute call. It goes to 1 minute and everybody's scattered like cockroaches and the lights turn on. So it feels like it. And you're alone. So
Do you ever get the 5-minute call and you getting everything ready? You throw your helmet on and while you're buckling in, you look down at your gas tank and you realize, I didn't put any gas in.
I haven't done that yet, but my wife is my crew chief, and she hounds me about fuel.
Oh,
so she's always like,
nice.
"Did you check your pressures?" I'm the driver mechanic. She's the crew chief. She won't jack up a car, but she'll do anything else. But she's always like, tire pressures.
Awesome.
Do you have fuel? Where's your helmet? I've driven up to grid without gloves on and had to come off grid to find gloves, and she can't hear me because the race car's loud and obnoxious. And so, yeah. And that's also why I have multiple sets of
doing
gloves.
Better than most.
Yeah. No worries. I had another time I didn't know where my gloves were. So I drove to the local on-premises speed shop that was there and revved my engine, and the guy behind the counter looked out the door, and I waved him over and I handed him my debit card and said, I need gloves in large. And he came out with some.
That's awesome. With
my card and a receipt. And then I went to grid while I threw package and receipt and my debit card in the passenger footwell and figured it would survive. So we do what we have to do.
We've all done dumb things.
Oh, yeah.
We don't look back at them fondly, but they are good stories.
I'm good for it once a weekend. So that's why I can't get into endurance racing, because it'd be like once an hour for me.
No, you come hang out with us. We'll take care of
you. So I've been listening to your podcast, and it sounds like you guys are going to do a little bit more sprint racing, maybe TT stuff this year.
Yeah.
Are you dialing back the endurance racing, or just sprinkling more in?
Not intentionally.
Okay.
It's not an intentional dial back. This is the first year where we're going to. There's a lot of things. This is the first year since we started where we have a conflict for one of our primary races, and then there's another race that we're going to miss because we didn't start working on the Honda Civic soon enough, and our engine won't be ready. So that's 2 of the 3 that we traditionally run. So with those dropping out, we also wanted to try, I think, and nobody else votes, so I guess it's my choice. But I thought it'd be great for us to actually try to compete and try to push a lap, because to be fair, Vicky and Jennifer have never really gone for, ask them what their fastest lap is at a track. They don't have a clue. It's not something that we worry about. We worry about getting better. So we're going to do some grid life sprint racing in the Sunday Cup class with Vicky, Jennifer, and I, and whoever else wants to go. And we're going to do that. And then we've got a fairly heavy HPDE schedule and car control and some other things that haven't been finalized yet. So I don't have dates on them yet, but skid pad and other things. So that's why I say this isn't going to be our breakout. Let's push for a victory this year. If we have one, great. But we're prepared. It's just not how we judge success for a weekend at this point. But next year maybe we'll try once or twice and see how it goes.
Yeah. I have a podcast early on. I say early on. I don't know what number this one will be, because I have a bunch recorded, unedited. I have a bunch uploaded. Let's say 20. In the sub 5 range, I had a conversation with a guy I race with now who's a longtime instructor about breaking away from the mentality that you have in HPDEs while you're learning what your instructor tells you. And then once you take a green flag, what does that mean? How does it need to change? And when you're looking for the time, and I behoove you to get something in the car that will show them the time as they go around, because I know the Apex won't. Well, unless the phone is in the car with it, but I think. I don't know. I haven't really looked into that one yet.
Yeah. If the phone's in the car, it'll show, or you can have it not show.
Right. So I behoove you to do that because it'll help motivate them. But also, when you guys are doing Sunday Cup, those guys are ruthless.
Oh, I know.
And it's time trial, but they will do literally, they do things to, they say they don't, but I watch video, so they do. They do things to scrub other people's laps, and they try to get advantages by draft and things like that. So they're ruthless for time trialers. So you really, really want to go out there and just keep slamming your laps down, lap after lap after lap. So
yeah, I mean, 100% for sure. The big joke that we have is I'm going to be doing one lap this year in the Sunday Cup class, and we're going to be racing Sunday Cup. And I keep telling everybody, I said, listen, Garage Heroes of Training, we have DFL locked up. You guys can fight for anything else you want. We are going to take this home with us every single time. So we're going in with very low expectations, and I think they will be met.
Well, I could bring my wife and I could bring our little street Honda Fit without any tires on it, and come and try to claim dead last too. So,
I don't know. It's going to be a tough battle then.
Well, I think it's actually scheduled to go to the body shop during one lap, but somebody decided to run into it in a parking lot. So. But maybe one day I can get her in a one lap car. I wanted to purpose build a one lap car, and she's like, we already have a Fit. Why would you do that? And I was like, I don't want a Fit for a one lap car. But
I tell you, Brock loves them. He loves the little Sunday Cup class.
I actually don't mind the Sunday Cup class in general. I don't like TT. I think you should go straight to wheel, but I understand limitations, and not everybody can afford the truck and trailer, and so there's some intermediate thing. But I don't like the hierarchy, the pedestal they try to put themselves on sometimes. So I'm sure I've lost listeners over me bashing TT guys, but
it's a different flavor for us because, one of the things that we try to do is we try to get better. The in-training part's very serious for our team. So we did the HPDEs. Then we said, we'll do the skid pad. Then we'll go do the autocross. And then, we need to do time trials. We need a front-wheel drive car because we've always driven rear-wheel drive cars. So we get front-wheel drive cars. So we're trying to be a well-rounded, besides physically, a well-rounded driver. I don't think anybody on our team has delusions of ever making a career out of this. We're not going to make any money out of this. Yeah, no. That ship has sailed and sunk. It's So, this is fun, and we try and treat it as fun, but that doesn't mean we don't want to get better.
Yeah, you have to have some sort of motivation, or you'll lose the desire. It can be fun, but if there's no drive, there's nothing to attain, then the spark will die out. So, good for you guys. I think it's going to be important to get out there and get a little bit more competitive in a shorter time frame for you, so you can come back. Bill can download all your data and share with you.
Woohoo.
Yeah. So, but
I secretly have the data. They just don't know it.
Yeah, but you'll get to compare their data in a different car to this new car in a new situation, and you may find something to share. But also, so when you guys are doing endurance racing, you don't have the data person yet, but I would assume you guys are doing at least a download at the end of the race. Well, now you're going to do a download after your 30-minute session and have time to absorb it, figure out what you want to do, set a goal for the next session, and go out and do it, and sort of just keep building in one day. Whereas maybe while you're endurance racing, you don't get that opportunity as much.
Well, with the Apex, we can do it live. So I can monitor it in the paddock while everybody's out on track, and I can actually see, we can follow the car go around and know the speed and the angles that they're doing. So it's not terrible, and we use the radio sometimes. But the thing I think that's going to be the bigger change for us is, and probably one of my little frustrations, it's not a big frustration, but a little frustration about lemons and endurance racing is there's very few cars that are the same. So you don't really have a benchmark. So if, like, when we're in it used to be called Spec Fit, now Sunday Cup, B-Spec, They're all the same ish,
yeah.
close. Now you'll have something to judge yourself against. There'll be 15, 20 cars that are similar to identical, because we've got a Spec Miata as well, where you can actually judge yourself versus somebody. And that's not the case in the cars we have, because we've got a weird car in a class of 130 people driving out on a track at the same time. And there's very few cars that are driving the same speed as us, and it changes driver to driver to driver. So you've got car variability, and then you've got driver to driver variability, and you never know, am I doing really well or am I sucking bad? And the spec racing, specifically the sprint racing, where everybody's trying every single lap, will give us an opportunity to actually measure ourselves against something, which is something different for us, because right now we measure it by your average lap and your average slow lap and your spread between. But is that the speed we should be going in that car? So I don't know. I know who tends to be fastest in our team, but I don't know if they're fast.
Right. Are you guys sharing a car, or there's two cars, right? Two Sunday Cup cars you're building?
There's a few Sunday Cup cars.
So
now there's 5.
Okay.
Well,
probably going to make. They're probably going to end up at 3.
Yeah, I think we have some that are going to be parts cars.
Okay, so round out. Are they all Honda Fits?
2 Fits, 1 first gen Mini.
Okay, first gen like British teeny one, or
no first gen BMW
Mini Cooper. Okay, so the Fit people will have the advantage. Who's driving the Mini Cooper?
That would be me.
Okay. There are
by purpose.
Okay, there are Mini Cooper guys out there. The Fits will be faster.
Yeah.
And so all the Fit people will be able to compare themselves together against what I consider Sunday Cup has ruined the Honda Fit used car market. All the cars are now, everybody wants like $8,000 or $9,000 for them. It's ridiculous. I'm trying to get another one, and I'm not paying that kind of money for a 200,000 mile Honda Fit. So, but they're going to have the advantage for the sole purpose of what you said is who they get to compare themselves to. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage, Bill.
I know, on purpose.
Okay. Okay. I would trade it. It's fine. Some Honda boy would want a BMW branded Mini Cooper, and I would get another Honda Fit. But
well, we have enough Honda Fits. We're just whether we're going to finish them into B spec cars or not is TBD. So we could build 2 Minis and 4 Fits, but we're probably not.
Okay.
I've gone a little crazy this winter, and I have a lot of them.
Are you prepping both of your Honda Fits the same way? Same coils, same everything?
One of them will be caged. One of them won't be caged for this season.
Okay.
So they'll be pretty close, but the weight-wise, they'll be the same.
Vicky, are you starting to weld and bend tube? Are you?
I am starting to weld. I have not bent yet.
Okay. Well,
we have a tube bender, and we have lots of tubing, and we have friends who have helped us install cages.
Yeah, we have friends who are way skilled, so they're teaching.
Well, that's good.
So I built I cut the plinth boxes?
Plinth, yeah.
Plus, I did the plinth boxes. I did that part, and I did prep the car for that. So,
okay,
for when they came, but just a matter of getting the stuff done. And then, of course, we have the Honda Civic, which is our enduro car, for Lemons.
Yeah.
And then
if you guys are,
we have now the BMW,
the Civic. If you guys are planning to run with a distributor, throw that plan in the trash.
Really?
We have lots of distributors, though. We're ready.
Okay.
I didn't know there was a choice.
Tell me about that.
It depends what ECU you're running, but you can go coil on plug with an external coil, and your you will have a distributor on the car, but it will only be used for the cam angle sensor that is used to fire your spark plugs through the coils. It's kind of expensive, but you will never, ever, ever have a problem. So,
do you have a resource for that? Do you have like a link?
Oh yeah,
for that
after the show, I'll
be in a podcast.
Or is that just yeah? If you could share that information.
Yeah, there's several ways to skin this cat, but yeah, Burton Racing makes one.
We've been killed by this cat.
It was a black cat. It ran in front of you while you were doing a driver change. But
couple different races, this cat has run in front of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah,
that, and I'm going to change out the oil filter for something much larger.
Yeah. So for those, do you guys carry look at temperatures, oil temperatures for your cars at all?
We do.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
The control panel will be going in this year. We kind of ran it light last year.
Do you know how hot it's getting?
Mm-mm.
We put a larger cooler on last year.
Okay.
I think it was peaking at like 210.
Oh, that's nothing. Don't worry about that. 210 is nothing.
Yeah.
So what you'll want to do is you need to look into, you'll want to run AND lines, and the diesel guys have a relocation kit. You just want their filter. The diesel filter is like 1.5 liters by itself. And you set it on a frame rail, and then you plumb that in line as it goes through to the cooler and stuff. That'll help. You'll get more capacity.
Yep.
Now,
that was already online.
Okay.
5 years ago, we would have had zero idea what you just said.
Okay.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, you guys have been learning. That's the important part.
Yep.
That's what we're trying to do here too.
Yeah.
In training. I think your podcast, I've listened to all the episodes now. It was semi-annoying that you were only on certain ones, and I was like, now I got to go get yours separate. But I did. Yours is very similar to ours, I think, goal-wise and content-wise. So it's one of those podcasts I listen to as soon as it pops out.
Well, I appreciate that. You're one of like the 5 people that listen, including myself and my dad and my brother. So.
Check Kenya. Check Kenya. You might be number 1 in Kenya.
No, I'm pretty sure.
We might be battling for number 1 soon.
I don't know about that. But I do this more for my sanity.
Never know.
So, and my wife's sanity, apparently.
Plus, you get to meet some great people.
Oh, yeah. Matt Eastling from Flagger, and you guys are probably the only people I haven't really known before having you on. So I really appreciate having you guys on, and you guys being responsive to my request to have you guys on, because you could easily just stiff arm me and ignore me. So,
I mean, we've been doing this a little bit longer than you, and there's very few people who don't respond.
Well, I found a couple of them already.
Less than 5.
So I found 2 of 5 already.
They might be the same ones.
Possibly.
Might be the same ones. So it's very weird though. It's the people I think won't respond.
Yeah.
And the people I'm like, oh, they'll no doubt and nothing. 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think that's true. So I'm running out of things to talk about. Do you have any tips for aspiring race teams or first-time drivers as they show up to an endurance race?
First thing, you just start. Just if you want to do something to fix your car, maybe change the brake fluid, maybe upgrade your brake pads. That's all you need. Just go have fun. You'll have a great time. It'll be fine. Go to an HBD, have a good time. If you want to start racing, Lemons isn't a bad way to go. We don't recommend that anymore, but it's definitely a viable path to go. I just think you'll have less stress and less first time intimidation if you go to like an HBD just to be on track. So you take away the how do I drive on track confusion from the how do I race somebody confusion. Because if you just go to a racetrack for the first time, racing wheel to wheel with 130 people, I think our first race there was 140 cars. There's a lot of things going on, and if you can disconnect those two, that would be what we recommend. But hey, if you want to, go for it. And then most of the things that we think about in terms of things to do, we've either had an episode on or you've had an episode on. So once you get to the track, you'll find other people and other resources and other friends to be that will help you to do what you want to do the best way, as opposed to if you try to do this, get everything right before you go to the track for the first time, you're going to spend a whole lot of money, waste a lot of it, do the wrong decisions, do the wrong changes. Don't worry about your turbo. You'll be fine. And you'll end up with a car that doesn't do what you actually want it to do well. And you've wasted all that time and money when you could have been fixing the most important part of your driving on track, which is the driver. That's something that can't
just get on track.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, you're right.
Our big thing is that you work so hard to talk yourself into going and doing, and you'll find a gazillion reasons on not going, even though you want to. Well, all you have to do is just step out your door and say yes, and just show up. Just show up. If you just do that, if you just say yes for a year to whatever experiences that you think you might want to try, you will have the best year ever. Just show up.
Yeah, and at the racetrack, there's several hundred enablers around you to encourage you to keep going. So
encourage you to, make poor choice decisions, but
your wallet
sucking you in.
Your bank account and your wallet will hurt, but you'll have a good time. So
I mean, if it's not endurance racing, just take your car out to look up at your local
autocross.
Yeah, an autocross. Go look at an autocross. If your budget doesn't fit enduro racing, go to an autocross and just go have fun, meet friends, have a good time, enjoy your car.
Yeah. And if you're, early in your career or still in school and you have, next to $0, I know NASA has, volunteer programs where they'll trade your help on weekends for track time on other weekends and things like that. There's ways to do it for really low dollars. And, I could recommend several places to go look for resources beyond our two podcasts here that, that's what they specialize in, is trying to help people do this sport, which can be, it's kind of like when you go to Hawaii, right? Is it expensive? Can be. You can spend $1 bajillion. There's no problem doing it, but it doesn't have to be, so there's ways to do this sport on a more economical basis. And, it takes a plan. It takes a little bit of knowledge that you'll learn with the help of others. And, the part that hurts everybody is self-control, because you can spend $1 bajillion on this.
Yes, you can,
and still suck.
Yeah, I can't hide my money.
and still drive really bad.
Oh yeah.
Whatever you're waiting for that's keeping you from going to the track, if it's not the car doesn't run or your tires have holes in them, you're making up an excuse. Just go to the track. You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Yep.
Amen.
Look for Garage Heroes and Trading Flag. We'll be there.
Sweet.
Come say hi. We'll give you stickers.
I'll have to walk by and I'll have to search the horizon at our paddock and see if you guys are there. No.
You'll see a whole bunch of people running away from it. So that'll be, look
Close.
the other.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Anytime you guys want to come on, anything you guys want to talk about in the future, you're more than welcome. So it's been a pleasure.
we would invite you on our podcast, but we already have, so you'll be there soon. And from your backlog, which is where we usually are, to our currently post-move backlog and being non-existent, when you're on, you'll be on the next week. So your episode will come out before our episode.
That's true. All right.
Thank you for the invite, sir. It was great.
Thank you.
Until next time, keep working on yourself, keep working on the car, and let's get faster.